Welcome everybody to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. We have a couple live shows coming up. On June 19th, we will be at Malo in Silver Lake, and on June 29th, we will be in Hermosa Beach. For more information on these shows or any of our future shows, please check out our website, comedypopupla.com. All right, let's start the show.
Check. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. Filling in for Ron G today, I am your host, Nick Alexander, and today we are sitting with two heavyweight stand-up comics out here killing the game.
Right, dog?
Literal heavyweight.
I'm like, God.
I was referring to the work they do on stage. They took it one step further, man. We got one of the Latino kings of comedy, man. Always been a solid dude. LA-based, Joey Medina, right?
Thank you.
Thanks for coming through.
The Bronx finest, right?
That's right.
Originally from the Bronx. Okay, I did not know that. All right, so you both coasts. All right, that's what's up. And then also we have Rodrigo Torres. He tours with Felipe Esperanza. They do a podcast together called What's Up, Fool?
Yeah, man.
My What's Up, Fool is getting there. I need a couple more. I gotta hang out with some more Mexicans. My What's Up, Fool ain't is next Friday good, but I'm
It's all gravy, man. I'm sure there's some African American influence with that What's Up, Fool.
Exactly. Yeah. But you know, my thing is too, like, I feel like the stereotypical Mexican has changed, right? Because I don't think it's like the same. Like,
what do you mean, Holmes?
No, well, I think and mullets and color shirts.
Right? You mean in comedy or?
I think in general.
Well, I don't know about in general. I think in general things are. I don't know.
Stereotypical still, huh?
Yeah, maybe it's stereotypical, but I think in comedy it's changed tremendously.
There's so many subgenres now. We have the Mexicans who are like hipsters, and then
skinny jean Mexicans.
Yeah, but not only that, like that's been around forever. Like I think in comedy, it's always been. There's a great movie called What's Up, Rocker.
Okay,
right, and it's about Mexican. The guys wearing the skinny jeans and all that. But it's a great movie, independent movie. But anyway, besides that, in comedy, this is my perspective. In comedy, it was when Latino comedy started, it was just like black comedy or any other group of comedians that it was just, okay, it's on this Monday night is going to be Latin night, or you have a Que Locos, or you have this show, and that's the only time Latin comedians got any kind of airtime or kind of any time of stage time, and then a lot of the comics were doing the stereotypical kind of material. My dad, my mama, my grandmother, and that's the way it had to go. But I think nowadays, today, it's completely, we've kind of blended in and we're just doing comedy.
Right.
And the same thing with African-American comics. It used to be everything was a Def Jam night or Chocolate Sundays or this. And now it's not, man. Now it's just people telling jokes from a different perspective.
Yeah, we got the black mainstream, black alt, like this. I think, we've definitely veered off. And I don't knock, like, when, like so you talk about how Mexican comics, when they did their nights, or whatever, they always did the family stuff, their mom and grandma. I don't knock that because that's like, unfortunately, we are very tied to our family. We're very family-oriented people, and we get our black Latino people, our family are always colorful characters. You know what I mean? So I think
it's not boring.
It's not boring. It's like you have probably tons of fucking great stories about your uncle or drink, birthdays, and I think that always just translates because that's the thing that like you think about that makes you laugh the most, and that's what you want to share with people. But like, it just, I guess, when they just see like 8 guys telling stories about their family, they have to just pick one guy who they think story translates the most. Like, I don't know how that works because it's like, how can you get knocked for talking about your truth, you know what I'm saying, and not getting your shot?
No, I know, but I think, and you're absolutely right. But the only negative on that was a lot of the stories were very similar. And so not everybody stood out, and everybody sounded the same. And then it sounded. I remember one time when I was calling clubs trying to get work, and I called up, hey, my name is Joey Medina, I'm trying to get it, hey, they're like, oh, we already had a Hispanic comic last month. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I know, like, what the hell was that? It is like
twice a year, that's it.
Yeah, like, and it's just ridiculous. Like, it's so funny. It's like I was part of the original Latin Kings of Comedy, which was a huge thing. It's still, it's funny. I'm still signing
off that. Huh? You still kind of eat off that in certain ways?
Yeah, but I personally, honestly don't want to. Like, to me, I've done so much other shit since then, but I understand. I understand. Yes. For instance, I understand, anybody who's done, like, I have my friend is Rob Parisi. He sung Play That Funky Music, White Boy.
Oh, wow.
And like if he's done other stuff since then, but he knows he's like that's what everybody knows.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've kind of accepted that fact, but it's like it's like I've moved on, and I think everything should move on, and I love it now. We're in right now in 2018. We've got Gabriel Iglesias, we've got Felipe Esparza, we've got so many other Hispanic comedians, Latin comedians that have transcended their stereotype, and I honestly love when I see Hispanic comedians or Latin comedians travel to another, because I have many times traveled to another country and perform and headline there. I am so proud of that moment because I'm like, that's what we all should strive for.
We've expanded we're branch out, and
universal aspect to it. It was never around before. I think that's what you're.
So Rodrigo, if you guys both want to share, how many years you guys both got in the game? Like how long have you been doing?
Dude, I've been doing stand-up comedy for 17 years.
17, Joey?
25.
25. So getting a chance to tour, I assume, with one of your best friends in the game, Felipe, right? And I think what he accomplished is super successful because the only Latin guy outside of Lopez to get an HBO special. I think like that doesn't get enough like.
That and John Leguizamo. I mean, traditional stand-up.
He did the one-man show, but like another stand-up in like these last 5 to 10 years, like, and then now there's the HBO Latino stuff like that. Like, how does that feel like you're around that kind of success, and how does that rub off on you?
Well, it's tripping, dude. It rubs off on me. It's inspiration, man. Sometimes you can get jaded, And I mean, where the fuck would I be if I didn't cultivate that relationship in the beginning?
Yeah.
And that's who I started hanging out with when I first came out to LA.
For sure.
And then that's how I met Joey Medina. But those guys back in 2001 were already headlining. You know what I'm saying?
All of you guys, right? Yeah.
They were headliners. To me, they were like, dude, a dude that can go up there for 45 minutes and be fucking funny.
When did the Latin Kings
I didn't even have 5
come
minutes.
out?
I think maybe 2004.
Okay, so 13, 14
And that was
years.
before social media, dude. And that was fucking, and it was enormous, dude. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
And that was
came
on
out in
HBO too as well, right?
Yeah, it was in theaters. Actually, in theaters. I remember touring.
Who's on the lineup?
It was George Lopez, Paul Rodriguez, Cheech Marin, myself, and Alex Raimundo.
Okay.
And I remember going.
Oh, that's right. Paul Rodriguez headline. I'm tripping. Did Cheech Marin host it?
Yeah. And I remember going on tour. I was touring after, and it was playing in theaters, and I would actually go after my show to the theater, and the places were all packed.
It was filmed on film, right?
Yeah, it was shot on film. It was beautiful.
Awesome.
It was amazing. And I knew it was going to be huge. I knew it was going to be. I go, this is going to change my life. And I remember the
Kings of Comedy is like, man, we could just blaze the same path, and
and it did and it didn't. You know what I mean? I think out of all the Kings of Comedies or the blue collar thing, I think we got the least amount of play, but I think that's other reasons other than not the performances or politics,
not talent. Definitely,
definitely like politics. Recorded something in Latino comedy history that at least it was like a stamp to legitimize it amongst the comedy world. Because we're still new to show business. If you go back to vaudeville, the beginning of show business in America,
you can't take that. You can't erase that off the history.
No, that was really history, and it really made a difference, and I knew that, and I think it made me a better comedian because I remember telling myself I need to raise the bar now. Because I knew, and I don't know it directly, but I'm positive there were people going, "Why him? Why was he on it?"
Oh, the haters.
So, but that's okay. I understood, but I understood that, and I told myself, okay, I've got to now raise the bar, and I've got to be a better comedian than ever because now I'm in this position. In this production of the original Latin Kings of Comedy, that I've got to show that I belong there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was cool. And 2 years after that, I did the Latin Palooza. I produced my own comedy special.
That's dope.
With
Ownership.
a bunch of other cats, and I wanted to, because I wanted to pull away from Latin Kings. I wanted to go, look, there's more things.
Right.
There's more of us. There's more comedians, not just us. And right now, I think comedy for Latin comedians are in a good place because I think we've blended in. I think when you look
to get on television, sitcom, I'm a big. I like Cristela a lot. Like, I think her stand-up is hilarious.
Yeah, she's funny.
When I read about why they canceled the show, that was so fucking frustrating. Because like, even if I don't watch the show, I'm big into like numbers, context of everything, looking stuff up. Weighing all these factors in, and the reason, why the show got pulled?
No, and I always thought it kind of didn't give her a real.
It was flaky.
Enormous.
This is what I learned. So ratings wise, especially on a show being put on a Friday, it did great.
Okay.
The reason why they had to cancel the show was because ABC didn't own it. It was a production company that owned it. And basically it was too expensive to keep shooting because if they didn't outright own it. So they said, we'd just rather save our finances and not renew. So because ABC didn't outright own the show and it was through another production company is why, but not because ratings or whatever, because people were watching, tuning in, which is important because what they'll try to say is a reason to not put our shows on is like, oh, people are not watching. It's like, nope, here's the proof. Every week, these ratings were killing these other shows.
But I also think, though, when it comes
to that demographic,
Yeah. But I think there's a lot more support in the African American community than there is in the Latin community. I think there's support within the communities. Like I think.
So if we're crabs in a barrel, what are y'all in a barrel?
Oh no, we're the crabs in the barrel. For I think, for instance, because I've always said this. I've always joked around and said if you put black people go watch a black screen. If you put a black screen up, they'll go see it because it's black. Right. And I go, that's the kind of thing we need to do, Latin people. But Latin people will be like, nah, I'm not. Fuck that. I'm not going to see that. I'm going to go see Fast and Furious. No, fuck that. I'm going to see that this other movie. I'm going to go see because we like. I'm not going to spend my $15 on Cesar Chavez. I'm going to spend it on some shit. I'm going to see somebody get shot. I'm going to see some fun shit. A car chase. And I get that
they'll leave it for frivolous shit.
Yeah, but I believe and this is just generally speaking, obviously. Yeah. But I really believe. And then the thing is,
but you're onto something with that though.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I also think though that African American, the talent, the people behind the camera. And in front of the camera, the people involved in the camera help each other. So, for instance,
Tyler Perry,
yeah, perfect example. If you for instance, if you get let's say a black celebrity, a black comedian gets a movie, he'll put 5 of his friends on, and the next time those 5 friends will put 5 of their friends on, and then so on and so on and so on. You never really see that in the Latin community. I try to do that in the small little projects I do, but they're so small they don't make a difference.
There's only so much you can do, but I think to the people who have done it, I would hope that they were grateful and appreciative of the opportunity. So I have a question. Do you prefer?
Before you go on, I was going to say you can contrast it with a cultural example.
Yeah.
Because we don't really fuck with you until you're really solid. We fuck with you.
Yeah, we go through that.
You have to be legitimized. At least some corporation has to have your back. But if you look at it, when a brother gets shot, black people will go out there and protest.
Right.
When a Mexican dude gets shot, it's like, what the fuck did he do? You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And we're more passive as a culture. We're new to this shit, dude.
Yeah,
There's not too many Hispanics that own fucking studios. There was Ricky Ricardo back in the day. They ended up buying RKO Studio. Yeah. But that shit didn't, it was
before its time.
You know what I'm saying?
But
totally,
and
man.
It's just with more time in this country, you got the Latin community will just keep progressing, and the artists who will really try to take over and then create platforms. And it's just starting to manifest. Like Gino Rodriguez is like really, stepping it up. As far
and homeboy from Mariachi, doesn't he have a production company?
Salma Hayek,
troublemaker.
She's really moved up in the producer stuff like that.
No, yeah, but the thing is this: a lot of them have, but there's no huge flow. They probably help among themselves.
There's outbursts more than there are like fucking nucleus.
It's got to be bigger, man. It's got to be like Tyler Perry.
Yeah,
the Latin community. Now Robert Rodriguez is the closest one to it, and the beautiful thing about Robert Rodriguez, and you can say this negative or you can say it's positive, is that his movies aren't Latin movies, but yet they are because the cast are Latin, everyone else is Latin.
Right. But
no one's ever looks at it as a Latin movie.
For sure, I never did.
Right,
he's the shit.
And I think as a filmmaker myself, I think that's the route to go.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like when I talk to my filmmaker friends who coming from USC or whatever, and it's hard. We're trying to pull each other up in the game, and we have such like specific views because we gotta know our shit, we gotta know their shit. But then when we do our shit, we gotta make sure they're not perceiving it as some black shit. We want it to be looked at as a movie, but we still want to include elements from our culture that make sure that we know we're putting something together that's with integrity. We're doing right by us,
right,
and we're not demeaning ourselves for their expense. And I think there's just a lot of that. We just try to be very conscious. You want to put out the right kind of thing so that your people are still loving you, but at the same time, it give you a chance to get to branch out into a bigger mainstream. That's why I think I like Felipe so much because like this dude is like fucking stoner, cool, like in his own. He's nothing like you ever seen, and like, but he's just fucking hilarious. And it's like I don't look at him as a Latin comic, or you don't brush him off like that. The same, you know how people just like you said when you called the club and they're like, well, we already had a Latin comic, and it's like it shouldn't be like that. It's like he's funny. He's a comic who happens to be Latin.
Yeah, and that's the thing with stand-up comedy. Once you go up there, once you're walking up on stage, you're already getting judged, dude. Yeah. So if you're just a brown dude that's going to say that, but after you watch it for a little bit and go, it's not just about the family. What this motherfucker got his jokes,
stories, clever shit. I got a question with y'all, right? So I'm from New York. Did you ever do comedy in New York or no?
I've gone back.
Okay,
I've done Carolines. I've done all the.
So I think the Latin comedy community in New York is pretty decent. Like we got like some vets who I always fuck with and respect. Roberto Vanderpool, Angelo Lozada, Edgar Rivera. You know these guys. I didn't know Rich Ramirez, but I heard great things about him before he passed away. And I used to do like Latin rooms in the Heights in Brooklyn or whatever like that. How is the Latin circuit here? Because I hear it was way more work. Because I like a lot of comics will say, when I started out, man, Latin rooms is how I used to eat. Like all the comics who are starting to get on TV, branch out, like Real Battles and those guys, they always used to big up how Latin rooms just paid really well and were fun shows to do. Like, is that?
Well, I think so, yeah. And I think the Latin rooms have always been friendly to African-American comedians or anybody else. I think one of the good things about, Latin crowds is that they just there to have a good time.
For sure.
And so it doesn't really matter who you are. Matter of fact, I think if you're not Latin, you probably have a little edge because they embrace you a little more. Like I've always found it the opposite, let's say, with black rooms. When I've done black rooms, because I'm a minority, I always felt, okay, I've got to really be extra funny because if not... they were like, right. Yeah. But if I was a goofy white
only white
comic,
people, If
a goofy white comic, he's all right, he can do almost anything, and they give him a chance. A Latin comic, not so much. But I understand that, and I get that, and I've learned to just like any comic, any room, anytime you get into a different room or a different part of the country or whatever, you learn to work that room a little bit, and you speed things up, slow things down, do this, do that, have a little more kick. And it took me, it took me a few times to figure it out, and then you figure it out and you got it.
For sure. So when you guys are on the road, right? Like, how do you prepare for the shows? Are you more like a guy, you look over your notes? Are you still pen to the pad? Do you just have that ability? Because I think it's possible where a comic doesn't really have to write stuff down, but he rehearses it so much in his head and he kind of like remembers. And even though we could probably be a little bit more disciplined, but it's just a way that we can write stuff. You can write it. Dude, like, how do you go about it?
I do it various ways, whether I'm going to host, whether I'm going to feature, and then do my own little things on the side, whether it be a little headlining off nights. Dude, I do the whole thing. I do go down my list of jokes and which ones I'm going to do. I also, some jokes get written, you just think about them. And sometimes you brainstorm some shit. Yeah. And then sometimes you go off the dome already knowing off experience and learning through your chops what the fuck it is you're going to do.
All right. How about you, Joey?
Well, as far as preparation, if I do prepare, I'll scan my notes just for maybe a joke I haven't done in a long time and go, oh yeah, I want to do that. Yeah. So I'll remember, okay, but I can't remember too many of them because then it'll throw me off.
It'd be like 10 to 15?
No, 2 or 3 jokes I'll remember. And then I never really do my set the same way all the time. Okay. I may open the same way or close the same way during the week or the weekend, but I won't do the middle. And then I kind of just go with it. But I do a lot of my writing on stage. A lot of my closing bits, the punchlines I've made them up on stage.
Wow. Okay.
So, and I try to, play with the audience, not play with the audience. There's comics out there that talk to the audience way too much. There's some that don't talk to them enough.
Right.
So, there's
it's balance.
It's a balance. You got to try to find the balance. But I try to be like a jazz musician when I just feel it. And sometimes you have a great night. Yeah. Most of the time, hopefully you have a great night. And then once in a while, you're like, man, that shit sucked.
And you kind of do enough because you could kind of get them back, but in your brain, I didn't have it tonight.
Yeah, and that's it. And you just
I like that. Off. I like that term you use, jazz comic. Like I think there's only a few comics where you just watch them how they operate and how they flow on stage. And my epitome of the jazz comedian, Tony Woods. Yeah, we all think about that. Like, I think he personifies that jazz flow where he just kind of like can just talk about anything, go any kind of way. You don't really know. Like, he's just very smooth with the flow. Right. And I think he's like a jazz comic. You guys have any guys out here who you consider like a jazz comic besides yourself?
Well, I'm not going to say that just because
you jazz. What kind of genre are you? What kind of genre?
I think for like Felipe. I think Felipe,
jazz?
Even though Felipe's got a set and stuff, but he's very he doesn't look like he's doing a set, and he's just up there, and there's times where he just you know, and I haven't watched a full set of his for a while, but he will just start going with it. And I've said this before Felipe even blew up, when we used to hang out at Willie's house, Willie Barcena's house. I remember telling Willie got upset at me that I said this one time. I said, man, fucking Felipe is like a genius, huh? He goes, I don't think so. like he was just like, I don't know. He kind of got upset, but I'm like, no, he does, because the way the way his mind works.
You were just giving him some props.
I think it was you or Gilbert Escobar that gave him that fucking that little thing. I mean, you can give this dude a Tootsie Roll and write 4 jokes about it.
Yeah, I don't think it was probably Gilbert.
Okay,
but yeah, it's like Felipe's, the way his mind thinks, the way his mind creates the material. Yeah, it's fucking genius. I really truly think it's genius. Like when there were jokes that he would do, I'm like, oh my god, it's fucking good. I've only bought, I think, 2 jokes mine in 25 years of comedy, and one of them, and the first one ever, was from Felipe.
Hilarious. Yeah. How much you pay for the joke? You want to share?
$70.
70?
Yeah.
The crayon one?
The crayon one.
How long is the joke? How long is it? I'm not gonna ask you to do it.
I added a lot to it,
but that premise.
But the premise, it was.
Oh yeah, buying premises
too long.
Is fine.
It was an idea, but then I put other stuff around it.
For sure.
But the joke itself was fucking brilliant. It was a brilliant fucking joke.
25 years, 2 premises. I ain't knocking you, man. Yeah. I know you did. I know you've been doing your thing.
Yeah.
What I just love how you guys brought that up. Where you just like, I remember, was it at such and such's house? So like, how much time do you guys spend with each other when you're not on stage? Like, are you guys like genuine friends in real life, like outside?
Well, I think you're definitely friends. I don't think we you know.
And you don't have to be like best.
We run different circles.
Yeah, there's always that element of respect. But when I first started hanging out when I started coming around in 2001, hanging out with Felipe, and we weren't even hanging out with Willie yet, because he was kind of like starting doing his own thing. Joey actually took off from that circle because he's already starting to headline, do his own shit.
Right. And that's what the class thing,
Yeah, and then Willie Barcena, we kind of hung out with him because they had a room in Montebello that they would do.
I've been
Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
And then by that time, you were already done with your film, and you were like, I think, doing the finishing touches, getting some money together to actually put it out. And that was already filmed in the box. And he was more, you always, you know, you doing Palooza, you doing your movie, you were more like your head was like, you looked at the bigger picture of it all.
Yeah.
You weren't just a stand-up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But even back then.
And I just wish hopefully one day that pays off. But it hasn't paid off yet. But you know, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. Like I love
that you just brought that up. I'm sorry,
go ahead.
You off. So like, you're saying how, you know, you started out like early mid-90s, right? And then you got to the point where you're a headliner, and like Latin Kings is huge, and you're, I'm sure, making more money than you've ever made or seen out of this comedy
because of
game.
that, yeah.
And then the Latin Palooza, so you spin and branch some stuff off, and then you have your draws, so you're headlining, and then, you know, you kind of like, you have a couple down years. Like, how has been the ups and downs? Like, is that like as legit as people say it is?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs, and the thing is this:
a lot of them.
What people don't understand is the more ups you have, and the higher your ups are, your downs are that low as well.
Okay,
it really is a mirror effect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've made a shitload of money, man. Shitload of money. But when you start making shitload of money and you start living a shitload of money kind of life, when you don't have it anymore, it sucks.
You mind sharing kind of what you did with that shitload of money?
Well, no, I bought my mom a house. Okay. I bought me a house.
That's respectable.
You know, I did those kind of things.
Okay.
And
like you didn't go to like Vegas and like rent out a suite and just had a bunch of hot bitches.
I had a few table service, you know.
Okay,
I did all right.
Nights.
But yeah, a little bit spoiled myself.
You're also one of those dudes that doesn't need money to get chicks, though.
It's charm. But now I'm gaining weight, so my charm has I got to bring that up to another level. But the thing is, it's just it is, you know. And I didn't live super rich like that. And it wasn't. I don't think I was wealthy, but I was doing really. I was making more than surgeons and pilots. I was doing all right.
Great living.
Yeah, but what the thing is, then it goes when it drops down. You drop down from that. So it's like you go higher, but now the fall is worse. You know what I mean? It's easier to fall from one floor than from 50 floors. And like I tell people, I go, and I always want to do a bit about this, but I haven't. I go, what's worse about being broke is used to being rich. Because when you used to be rich, now you know the shit you miss. You know what I mean? Like when you're eating a Sizzlers, going, man, I know what Ruth Chris tastes like. I know what Morton's tastes like.
This bullshit.
And so
that shit is tough.
But it keeps you humble. And the thing is this: I've always, and I pride myself on this, and hopefully people agree. And if they don't, I hope that's not the case. But even though when I was doing well, super well, I never ever looked down on anybody. I never talked down on anybody. I never treated anybody bad. As a matter of fact, I went overboard to try to be good because I didn't want to seem like a dick.
Right.
I've seen many people in this industry that we all know and love.
How bad did it get? Like, have you You don't have to say name, but just like, can you give me like a flip of
it's
how?
just I've seen people just get
Day and night change, man.
too cocky and they change, and maybe it's temporary. You know, in the beginning, it's always going to change a little bit. But no, it's the thing is this. I was always lucky because I had success in boxing.
Okay.
I went from an amateur boxer to a professional boxer, and I fought for the title, and I did all that.
That was in your credits. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I forgot to mention former boxer Joe
But I've
Medina.
seen that. So like I've seen I've been through
in the business,
the ups and downs in boxing. So when I got my ups and downs in comedy, I realized, okay, here we are in the same boat.
Right.
Chill the fuck out. Don't be a dick. Be extra humble. Like when I was doing radio and I was making $500,000 a year just in radio, I was saying yes to everybody's $20 gig and on weekdays, and I'm like, I gotta wake up in 4 hours, but I was still saying yes because I didn't want to be that asshole to go. I don't want people to go, oh, he doesn't want to do it because he's on radio. That's not what I go.
Oh, dude, I remember, dude, from here to LA, your face was on Billboard.
You would still come through.
Yeah.
Straight
but
up.
I was working. I was living in Pomona at the time. My house was in Pomona. I was doing the trip all the way into LA in the morning, go back to Pomona. Then at night, I was doing a shitty $20 gig, and then driving all the way. There were times I had to park in the freeway to go to sleep because I was falling asleep and I didn't want to die. So it got so bad where I ended up getting an apartment right next to the radio station. So I had a house in Pomona. I had my mom's house in Jersey, and I had my apartment. And I was just doing that because I didn't want to say no to people. Wow. And
that's tremendous.
Yeah, so I've learned now, say no to people, but you just got to maybe say it really nice. But I just, it's because I didn't want to be a dick.
How have your ups and downs been? Like, can you want to talk about that? Like,
I mean, dude, and it's funny how like...
And you can be honest, if you never really felt no lows like that.
Shit, it's all been lows. Because it's funny because like people look at you just as you hang out with somebody that's famous or doing real well.
Yeah.
They also, well, this motherfucker must be successful. But... as far as my lows, it's always been the $20 gigs. I always did my gigs. It's always been the empty ones. Every now and then,
Right, you get the call because such and such.
But I mean, the last fucking 8 years been real good. But again, it's something that cultivated out of a relationship, dude.
For sure. It's organic.
It's not really business. There's a lot of people that get their gigs business-wise, which is cool. Yeah. Or, your own merits, which is totally cool. That's the way you should do it. But yeah, man, it hasn't really been like fucking, there's never been those checks. There's never been those meetings at NBC. Which, dude, I mean, I always looked at it, you have to really be good first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also, you don't want to get those opportunities and not be ready.
That's true. That's true.
And I've heard from dudes that had those opportunities, when you get the call, be prepared. Because you get in a meeting, you don't have any ideas for anything. What you're going to talk about, what they're going to write about, fucking it'd be falling flat, and then, you don't get the second call.
Damn.
Yeah,
But all my struggle has been stand up to try to be good, try to be, come up with some shit that's funny, to have somebody like him come up to me, hey, dude, that was just fucking funny, to keep doing your thing. All right on. You know what I mean? With motherfuckers like someone like Corey Holcomb come up to me, man, that joke you about smelling the sea. I just laugh. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's success.
Have you hosted your own rooms? Have you guys had your own rooms?
Yeah. I have my own little room in Riverside. We do once a month now.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Nice. How about you, Joe? You used to have rooms back in the day?
Yeah, he had a grip of rooms.
Then I had Laugh Factory. I was doing. I was one of the hosts.
The Monday night.
nights.
I used to go by and hang out there. Yeah. I've always
Did I ever give you a spot in the opening? Because
I never really asked you, so I wouldn't even say no. I didn't. I just used to go because I was just trying to I was visiting a long time before I moved, so I used to just tell myself, okay, you're out here, you can't stay home. You guys go out. Doesn't matter whether they know you're not. Just go to the shows, talk to comics.
Yeah, because I never made the schedule there, but a lot of times
it was hard. Everybody used to always say, but the booker kind of books it.
Yeah, but what I would do is I would always give comics. Who wanted a spot, like a opening spot, like the cold spot.
Okay.
Like
I would have did it. Yeah.
Yeah, like Battle.
Right.
I put him on there. Mm-hmm. And we became friends. I ended up taking him to Japan.
Nice.
And so my thing is always
great shows used to have the hot crowds.
Yeah, but I love watching hungry comedy. Like someone who's hungry, even if they're not the most talented cat in the world.
Yeah.
When I see somebody like, man, I really want to, I'm like, all right, let me give you, because I remember
that fire.
Me, man. I remember, I'm still the same dude, except I just got more experience. But I love when somebody wants it bad. Yeah. Somebody wants it bad, I'm like, yeah, man, I will, in anything. Look, it's not like I could do it much, but if I can, I will help you in any possible way possible. Because I think it's dope.
No, I agree with that, man. Like me and my boy, we were talking about that. So my, a friend of mine, he's doing really well. He's climbing up the ladder in the game. He gets a lot of writing work and is booking some acting jobs and is starting to headline clubs and stuff. And he was telling me how a comic reached out to him, was like, yo, can you, I was thinking you write me a show. I hear you be writing for other folks or whatever like that. And he was just like, The fuck is wrong with you? Like, you gonna ask me to write the show, motherfucker? How about you work on a show and then you let me read it, and then if by the time I'll give you some notes and we can go from there. I'm not gonna fucking write you a show like
from scratch.
Yeah, he was like, "Yo, I think you should like write a show, and you could do." And then it was just kind of like, but like, we're not gonna help somebody who's fucking asking us to do this. Like, you gotta go out there, fetch it, see you running through the hula hoops, and then it's like, all right, I see you getting it in. Now I've seen your desire and how you're really hungry. If I have something that I can help you with, then I will.
Right.
But comics be delirious sometimes with what shit they ask me.
And then a lot of comics will do this.
Oh my God.
There's some comics out there that only specifically get you gigs so they can get you, you can give them gigs.
Right. Oh, the booker for booker spots.
Yeah. Like there's this one cat. He doesn't live in L.A. He lives like in fucking.
This is gonna be
somewhere.
We're not naming names. Show.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mention names, but he lives like in Bakersfield. But what he would do, he's like an opening act, right? Maybe he could middle, but
at best. Okay.
So what he would do is he would call clubs up and go, "Hey, listen, man, I'm representing Joy Medina. Would you book him?" Wow. And they booked me, and then he would put himself as the middle. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. It's work.
You got an agent, shit.
Yeah, but then after a while, I'm like, but then I would find out that he was just a dick with people, and people wouldn't. Then a couple places didn't book me because of him.
That attachment,
and then I'm
man.
like, no, and he wouldn't try to get money from it, but it was like, I'm like, dude, no, I'm sorry, man, I don't want to be attached to you anymore. And I'm like, that's just fucking weird, man.
Yeah, it is.
And look. And I get it. It's a business thing on his end. It's a carrot on a stick. I get it. If I could. And the thing is this. But then I finally told. Then he would tell me this. Oh, that's the point I was trying to make. I'm sorry. He goes, "Why don't you ever bring me on the road with you on your other gigs?" I'm like, and I finally had to go. I go, bro, I don't like you that way. Like I just.
I don't like you that way.
Like,
Cool, motherfucker.
Like,
Yo, it's awesome, real shit. Like comics, we kind of become. We can kind of understand what women go through. Right. Like when you know what I'm saying.
Can't have no motherfucker on the road fucking giving you headaches, dog.
Right. Like I need peace.
Yeah, like when I don't bring somebody with me and I find out, it's so and so, I'm like, oh, fuck, cool.
Yeah.
Like you guys can, great, man. I met you, boom, I know him, fuck, let's have fun. But other cats, I'm like, I don't want to. I know I'm not gonna hang out with them. I know we're not gonna talk. We're not gonna do nothing.
I'm gonna have to fake laugh.
Yeah.
And all it's just shitty jokes.
Yeah, and it's just, and so that's what I was doing with that cat. And I'm just like, and then I even told him,
I don't like you that way.
Yeah, he goes, well, just because I don't drink with you and hang out. First of all, it's not even about. Sometimes I don't even fucking drink at all on the weekend. I'm like, it has nothing to do with that. It's just your persona sucks, dude. I go, you're not likable.
Your approach.
You know how bad that feels if somebody tell you your persona sucks.
It's like, dude, some guys need to take
It's true.
Ethics 101, dude. And it's like fucking the moral compass, dude. I mean, whatever you do, like behind closed doors or whatever the fuck, when you're not doing comedy, that's great. Do it how you do it. But when it's a business, man. If you look at it, dude.
Yeah, and I don't know how Felipe is, and I'm sure maybe he has a similar thing. Like when I'm on the road, when I work with cats, I want everybody to be fucking cool.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. I don't, whatever.
Vices
but don't make me look bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't be disrespectful to the owner, the booker, the wait staff.
Sure. Yeah, you order food, you better tip, man.
Yeah, you tip right.
Yeah. If you're getting free, you better, especially if you're getting free. Tip
because I want you to look good. Like I'm not. There's a comic we all know. I'm not going to mention names. I took him one.
You want to say what it rhymes with?
I took him with. I took him with me to Bosnia or somewhere.
Okay.
Like overseas.
You should have left him there, Doug.
But he has a little. He's
moved up in the game.
No, he has a drinking problem.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, listen, brother. I go, when we go there, I go, you can't drink at all. That's the deal. If you want to come with me, because he's like, hey man, and I really like him as a person. I think he's a funny dude. And I go, if you come with me, bro, you can't drink. That's just the deal. I go, I'm gonna be drinking. Everybody else is gonna be drinking. You're not. You know that, right? He goes, yeah. And he was cool about it. And I was, all right, cool. I mean, I'm respectful. But the thing is, because there's some cats, I don't want to be watching him. Like, that's it. You have too many.
Babysitting, man.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. That's not what
I've had some friends that had to babysit because they're just like, I know, like, I can't go out and have fun because I know he's going to act. He might do something really stupid, and then you end up getting a fight or fucking punched in the face for him or whatever.
I can't have that. I cannot look bad. I've done that already. Yeah. I've invited people, not even comics. I remember one time the club, this one particular club didn't want me back because a person who was on my guest list fucking got drunk and his girlfriend got drunk and they were fucking started shit. And it was, of course they bring, I'm Joey's friend. I'm Joey. And then fucking they didn't want to bring me back. And this was
one guest.
That was just a guest.
So
I'm like, fuck that, man.
Two drink minimum customer.
Man.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, man.
Sheesh.
It's important, man. If you take someone on the road and for all the comics that listen out there, man, if you want more work, behave. And I'm not talking about be a nerd or be
Act right, man.
But act right, man. Decent.
That's part of being a professional.
Yeah.
Like I think what people don't understand is like
showing up on time, all that shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm still getting better with that.
Oh, I wasn't even throwing it at you, man. I'm just
I was just a good reminder. But yeah, some comics don't understand like the stage. After you've been doing this some years, I'm like 8 years in. I'm decent, you know.
So you're up there again.
I'm up there, you know. Hold my own. I haven't seen enough to know. It's just like the stage is honestly just is the fun. Everything else is work.
Right, absolutely.
The emailing, calling, going out to clubs and FaceTiming so that they could, you know, stay on the radar and, you know, sometimes taking yourself out of other cities, doing some guest spots just for a chance to get some work out of the club and you know, working on the set. That's all that is the quote unquote work. But
and you got to also realize you're always working. So for instance, if after the show you're hanging out at the club and you're having some drinks with the staff, or you're at work. Don't act like a dick.
Oh fuck yeah!
Don't be a perv. Don't be whatever. You know what I mean?
Dude.
Don't you act professionally, and you tip extra. You know what I mean? Like I just did Portland. I did Harvey's at Torrance. I was tipping like a motherfucker.
I just got good at tipping.
Yeah,
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, you got to.
Trust
you got,
me,
especially when you're a minority, you got to tip
I know.
more.
I never had it, so I was just like, I got $1.
Because you know what? That the last thing you want is after you leave, go, cheap motherfucker.
Oh,
And he kept on asking for drinks. He kept on ordering food for his girlfriend, and he didn't tip me at all. That's the last thing you want, because that's all they're going to remember.
Dollars and cents,
yeah,
baby. How you doing as a tipper, Rodrigo?
Oh, dude, fucking, you shouldn't just.
You kill it? You kill the tipping?
I do all, dude. I tip them, dude, out of not only out of like, you know, being grateful, but dude, man, you shouldn't be fucking, you know, slipping out that little dirty ass $1 bill.
No.
Just give them a Lincoln.
I'm at fives now. I can do fives.
Yeah.
Oh, five's not bad. Five's pretty.
Bad.
That's a good number.
I don't. My bill ain't too crazy. Where $5 ain't going like just.
And the thing is, it doesn't like. What I like to do is, because I always tip with my merch money. So and, you know, so what I do is at the end of the day, the night. Like if I've bought, let's say, not bought, if they've given me 3 drinks, 4 drinks, 5 drinks, I'll give them a 20.
Okay.
Because now it seems, and it's like just maybe $5 a piece or whatever, but it seemed big. It's like, oh, it's 20, man.
Yeah,
Thank you. And just, you know, like last day there, I had maybe 3 drinks.
What city was this? Where you
in Portland.
Okay.
At Harvey's. And great club, new owner, great place. I ordered like the last day 3 drinks, but I ordered food. I ordered dinner, so I gave him $25. And he's like, man, you could tell by their look, they're
appreciate
cool.
that shit.
And that
carries
that brings you. Matter of fact, they gave me, as I was leaving, they gave me another date in February.
Wow.
Because they liked me. I was cool with the owner. I did radio. As soon as I got off the plane, I do whatever they want. I'm there. You know.
So you solidify your 2019 weekend in February, one of the weekends in February.
And if not, that wouldn't happen.
Right. Well, I was gonna ask you, how are you with like your merch and stuff like that? Like you said, you sell merch. Do you have merch also?
Yeah,
how are you guys? You tell the comics a little bit how to make some extra money, because sometimes, as we all know, even featuring, even headlining, sometimes the money ain't great, and we got to do other ways to kind of get our dollars.
Oh yeah,
up.
absolutely.
Well, first and foremost, dude, if you're not headlining the gig, dude, you should always ask the headliner if you can sell.
Okay.
Dude, I barely started selling merch like a year ago, dude. I've been on the road for like 8 years.
That's fine. Yeah.
And also, I mean, dude, that's the first and foremost, dude, because, I mean, they're headlining the gig. They have their merch up there, dude. You don't want to really fuck with their money. If they say no, dude, don't take it personal, dude.
For sure.
Wait till you headline, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I've never, ever, I always allow everyone to sell merch, because there was a comic once, a headliner didn't let me sell merch.
Okay.
And that I was hurt. I'm like, I need the money. But I got it. Like, I just tell, the only thing I tell the other comics, I go, I get the best spot. That's all that matters. I got whatever the main spot is. That's my spot.
Spotlight on it.
Yeah. And if you work with Darren Carter, you're screwed. Don't even bring merch, because he's gonna outsell you. But
Oh yeah. Darren Carter is the best salesman in history. That motherfucker will talk to every last person. He'll catch every bit of 300 people in that
He middled
club.
for me to theater once, and all I had was his little DVDs. This guy brought a fucking swap meet. I'm like, I just packed up my shit and left. I'm like, this motherfucker.
You went to the hotel?
I got 3 different types of underwears, keychains.
I love
back
that.
scratchers.
Yeah, shout out
he
to
did
Darren
it
Carter.
right.
Yeah.
But merch is important. I think the right kind of merch is good too.
Yeah. What do you think is?
I've gotten to T-shirts only because I have this joke that was perfect for. No, this is actually a real product they sent me.
Yeah. These nuts, not by Joey Medina.
It's a real thing. These nuts. Check it out online. It's DEE, whatever the fuck it is.
It's like peanuts?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're real nuts, but the guy's a fan, and he sent me this and some nuts, and now I support their shit. Right. But But yeah, have a joke. So now I have this. I never want to sell T-shirts because it's extra luggage. You know, how it is.
You got to
You're
get
doing this, and you got to pay for this.
25 there,
and it's
25
heavier.
back.
But it was. Everyone's like, dude, that's a great joke. But now I forgot his name anyway. There's a comic who does the almost exact same punchline in his show, and he does. I saw him on Netflix because after I heard about it, I looked him up.
Damn.
And I'm like, fuck, it's too late. I already bought the shirts. I'm about doing the fucking joke still. And I didn't take the joke. It's my fucking joke. I made it up. But it's almost word for word. Not the whole joke, but the punchline. I'm like,
okay.
fuck.
So you might have to compete with that kind of shit.
No, yeah, well, I already got the shit. No, but the thing is, I know I didn't fucking take the joke. So I'm not worried about that. But, and I've been doing it. I don't know how long he's been doing it. I've been doing it at least 2 years. Okay. So, but it's a good. But yeah, if you're gonna sell merchandise, try to sell merchandise that sells.
What do you recommend? Like, okay, so like, have you put out like any of you got album specials before? You recorded albums. Do you is that still a viable piece of merch to sell? An album, even though we don't really have CD players like that, but it's still you can pop it in some. You can pop in an album somewhere and listen to it.
What I want to do,
have them download
and I haven't done this yet, and I would recommend anybody to do this. And everybody's different. Is because you still got to print CDs, you got to do all this. What I would do, and what I want to do, I've just been lazy to do it, is because I've got about three things I can do. Like I could put movies, I could put Latin Kings of Comedy, all that shit on a drive and sell that. But what I would still do is when I promote it, is show the actual DVD or show the actual CD.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go, hey, listen, I got this on a drive. Because if you show a drive, it looks like a fucking drive. Nobody wants to buy that.
For sure.
But then you sell it to them that way. And then that way you don't have to carry it. You can carry 100 of them in a tiny little box.
Fucking bag inside your bag.
Yeah, in a bag. So you don't have to worry about luggage. Like the T-shirt thing, the problem with the T-shirt thing
weight,
is
man.
it's the weight and it's more shit you got to carry. But they sell great, you know. So
and you can charge like what, 10, 15, 20?
I charge 20, yeah.
20?
Everybody mostly charges 20.
And as far as like for CDs, I've noticed, I don't sell CDs, but guys
Have you
I've
done an
seen
album
sell,
before?
No, I don't even have an album.
It's time to do an album, man. You got the time.
A lot of people, they as far as the album goes, I've noticed that the people that buy them are people that are usually like 40 years and older.
Yeah.
The younger people are more with the downloads and all that shit.
So like you have a card or something like that with the download code or whatever. You got to kind of be a little bit more strategic. But like I feel like the comedy album has resurged. Like I think. You know,
I just recorded one.
Okay, so you got a new one that's on the way. So by Portland and Harvey's next year, you're gonna have the album ready. No, what? So like, I'm big into like the history of comedy, and like when I really got into it, I started like listening to like old Pryor and George Carlin, and you know, even though I wasn't. I'll be honest, I was not into Cosby's albums. I get his greatness, but the albums just never did it for me. But I understood that. These were the things that people did seek when their favorite guy was hot. And then, you know, I guess around the 90s, it kind of was like dead. But I think in this last 10 years, comedy albums are like a really good thing to do because of how they get on Sirius XM and all these stations play it, and Pandora, and you get on your Spotify and iTunes, and you get on the charts. So I think there's you do agree that like albums are definitely something that even a comedian who's not famous, they should work to invest in themselves to pull albums like that off?
Yeah, because I think, first of all, it's like because I make, everybody knows what residual money is, royalties, right? Yeah. I get stuff from TV stuff, but very little money. I get like a 6 cents check here, $4 check here.
Ballin'.
Oh, you know, yeah. But where I make about $1,000 a month is on like Pandora and Sirius Radio. I make about $1,000 a month in average, you know, little give or take. Yeah. And it's all from audio shit. So that's why I decided I could easily produce my own comedies. I just did a comedy special for the Dirty All Stars.
Okay.
I think I was on your show for that, right? And then and I could do my own special, but I'm like, that's going to be harder to move around and more expensive, obviously.
Of course, because you pocketed it.
Yeah, but I went to the Ice House. I did an hour spot, and I did it all clean. And the reason I did it all clean was because it'll play more places, and I'll bring more money. And that's how I did it.
To carry you through the slow months.
Yeah.
So for those listening, man, you know, get your material tight. You know, find a venue that could help you out. You know, try to be smart, ask questions, get help. Quality audio has to be, you know, magnificent, and then you can get an album and make residual income.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
What do you recommend? Was it Sirius XM? What are the other places that you?
Pandora. Well, the thing is, I think if you get it on iTunes, I think it'll go from there. I'm not sure how that works.
Okay,
but
you do yours with a record company or is it yourself?
No, I did it myself because I can do it. Yeah,
that's smart.
But I have all the equipment and everything.
Okay,
and it's easy. It's not hard. It's
not hard.
Really not. I mean, look at it like podcasts. Everyone has a podcast now because technology is a lot easier, and you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, before like nowadays, you literally can put all the power of a studio in a little tape or in a little digital recorder. You can do that, with the Zoom recorders. Like the one that you guys have, I have the same one, and it's just it's easy to do now.
Wow. Okay. Power of the album, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Rodrigo, so you do a podcast with Felipe, right?
And I also have my own.
And so you have two.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
And what I do on that one every other episode.
What's that about? What's it called?
It's just Man podcast. I interview comedians, politicians, myself do solo ones, but I also release 10 minutes of material every time I get a little new one. That way, my little audience that I have can cultivate something that I sound like. Because even before that, when I'm on the What's Up Fool podcast, they just think I'm a sidekick. I don't even do stand up till they see me. Damn, dog, I didn't even know you did stand up. Oh yeah, man, right on. That's what I do, man.
So are you say you cover politics? Are you into politics like heavy?
Yeah, dude. I mean,
you watch CNN every day?
I kind of turned off with this last election, the national one. I mean, more local, but I mean, I've always been, dude. I mean, I'm a history major, so I've always been like politically savvy.
Dope.
But yeah, man, more like local politics and stuff like that. I know what's going on, but yeah, man, just with this last one, people got too crazy on Facebook and it just got very personal.
How many Facebook back and forths were you in?
None, dude. I just stayed away from it. I didn't fucking put no sides.
You read the comments a little bit?
Yeah, I read the comments, but dude,
you go back and forth with everybody?
It was really depressing.
You got them Twitter fingers.
It was depressing to see people that you thought were friends thinking on the other side, and that's what was alarming to me.
Scary.
And I was like, and I used to be of a different political ilk, but when Obama was in office, I kind of seen a lot of racial shit, and I wasn't really down with that anymore, dude. So I was like, fuck this.
It's funny because I remember when I grew up, it was like,
cool.
It was not, no, it was rude to ask them what your political views were. Like you were not supposed to really ask people about their politics, and like, Facebook in this platform of talking and communicating, going back and forth, and then kind of like having a black president, people start coming out about how they feel about someone.
The true colors, man.
Yeah, the true colors. So I think, him being president did a lot, because you really wouldn't know people's agendas or what they believe in about stuff like that.
I think with this president, people are really showing their colors.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or lack of it.
Lack of
color. And it's incredible. I've never been political ever. I've never,
I'm not for it. Not on stage.
Yeah, I voted for Obama. I was supportive of Obama, but I've never been really, I never really been outspoken.
Yeah.
With Trump, I've been outspoken because of how fucking horrible things are, and how, as a person, I don't like him.
Yeah.
And so I don't like him being the leader. I don't like him being the president, because I think I got into a discussion with an ex-girlfriend who's a Republican, and she's like, well, I would bring something up what he would do or say, and she goes, oh no, what he meant this, what he meant. I go, why do people have to always say what he meant? I go, I don't want no. She goes, oh no, but that's his personality. I go, no, the president of the United States should say what he means.
Exactly.
And he does say what he means. People dilute that shit by going, no, he didn't mean this. He meant that. No bullshit. That's what he meant.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be, and I don't know if it's because we're comedians. I don't know if maybe because I grew up from New York, but I could see right through that motherfucker. When he says something or does something or doesn't say something, I know why the fuck that happened. I don't have to be a fucking, and I used to be a cop. I could read a motherfucker. That motherfucker is wrong. He's wrong. Yeah. And maybe he could do every nice, and and I'll go like when he was it Lisa Jones, the woman that he pardoned? What?
Oh, the drug lady sold drugs, the grandmother.
The one just recently.
I said, you know what? That was a good thing he did, and I don't like Kim Kardashian, and that was a good thing that she did. I go, although I know there was probably another motive. I know it's probably but I'll give him credit. The reason I do that is because I wanted to show all the Republicans that are on my page. You see, when I could say something good about him. So why you need to say something bad about him? I hate when I go, well, look, he does this, and every fucking Republican on my Facebook, oh yeah, but this and that and this. I'm like, stop, just say it. And Obama this. Fuck, Obama's not fucking president. I go, you might as well blame. If you're gonna blame Obama, then blame fucking Abraham Lincoln, blame Nixon, blame somebody else. They're not fucking president. This motherfucker needs to own his shit, and his shit sucks, and that's fucking okay. That's it.
Oh, dude's a dick, man.
Yeah, he's a dick. He's a fucking
and he knows how to
douchebag.
fucking, how to.
On a lighter note, how do we feel about bubble baths, guys?
Bubble baths are.
I've never had one, man.
I never had a rubber ducky.
When I was poor, I used to just use Dawn dishwashing liquid.
The motherfucker be raw dogging porn stars, so I mean, he's a dick, man.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned girlfriends. Let's talk relationships. How you guys been married, girlfriends?
Oh, I'm engaged, dude.
You're engaged.
Really?
You're married.
Congratulations! I know that.
Nice. This is gonna be your first.
Yeah, man.
Okay. How long you guys been rocking?
3 years.
And
days, huh?
she's supportive of your comedy.
She's cool, man. She has her job, dude, and then I do what I do, man. There's nothing there's no, she's not trying to be in show business or none of that, so it's kind of cool that way.
Like that. Y'all got kids or
no?
separate?
She has a son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's dope. So then you don't even have to do all the work. You just
man.
You just kind of get to chill and eat the cereal, go hit the stages, and do your podcast. How about
That's my little.
so yeah, but it's a happy bubble.
It's cool, man. It's real cool because dude, you run into chicks all the time, dude. Some, want to be around because there's like some glitz and shit. After that shit fades or whatever the fuck, it's like, what's up? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So didn't come at me like that, and I'm down with that.
Solid. How about you, Joey? How's your?
Oh Lord,
he's pontificating
Because I'm not gonna lie, Joey, you seem like a guy who just been divorced and fucking lost some money. You pissed shit off.
Man. Yes, and you would be correct. You will be correct. I've been married 3 times, man.
3. So you love hard.
Yeah, fuck, I do. I love hard. I
Drink harder.
Yes. And but the last time I was married was it was actually right around 9/11.
Okay.
So everybody had a bad year that year. But it was I love hard, but I've gotten smarter.
Okay, can you take us through each of the wives if you don't mind?
Well, the first one, I was 19 or 20 or something like that. She was a couple years older than me, absolutely beautiful. They're all been beautiful, thank God.
All beautiful wives, so you can claim that at least. If nothing else, my Throwback Thursdays would be lit.
And then it was just I wasn't ready. I mean, shit, I'm older now. I'm not even ready.
Let me ask you this, man to man. Were you just honestly was it the first piece of sex you just got that you just fell in lust for, or she just had dope shit about her and you just
love at first sight?
Okay.
She was that beautiful. She was little tiny Latin girl with big green eyes. She looked like she was just the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. I just couldn't stop thinking of her.
And then what kind of
Then we lived together and shit. And then the thing was this. It was, and then the thing was we lived together a while and I was fucking around still. I'm fucking 19 years old.
Right. You love her, but I was fucking around.
So then one day, okay, I'll give you. Oh my God, I've never said this story
Tell us stuff.
This is what happened. A couple years into the relationship, we're already living together. My sister comes to stay with us.
Okay.
Me and my sister are super tight. We would be like twins, but we're not. She's 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
Me and my sister get into a fight. Verbal fight, and I said probably horrible things, and it was so bad. She wanted to go back to New York, and she would want to be, and I'm like, it was breaking my heart. And I remember laying in bed with my girlfriend at the time, and we were all going to go to Vegas to hang out. And she goes, what's wrong? I'm like, and I told her about the fight with my sister, and I go, it's weird. I feel so lonely now that I think her and I are not talking. And she goes, well, I know how it is. She goes, I know how it feels to be lonely even when you're with someone, about me. And I was already low, and I became like an amoeba, man. I was like, I felt so low, and I go, you know what? I'm gonna do the right thing. Fuck it. When we go to Vegas, we're gonna get married. And I said that, and she's like, what? I go, yeah, I'm gonna do the right thing. You deserve it. And I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
But
y'all got married in Vegas.
But we got married in Vegas, and so that's what happened.
First wedding in Vegas.
Yeah.
Don't tell your moms and dads. You rob your family of a chance of the wedding, because I know Latin people. The wedding is important. That's everything.
And she was perfect. It was me. I told. The other two, they were fucking crazy.
Number 2.
How long were you married?
How long y'all married with
The
Vegas?
first one, maybe 5 years-ish.
Oh, wow.
Or something, give or take.
Mid-20s, that's when y'all kind of...
Yeah.
All right. And then, but that was on you. You claimed that
was
one.
totally on me.
All right.
Totally on me.
And then number 2. So where are you at in number 2? You're doing comedy? You're boxing?
Number 2, I'm an undercover cop.
Okay. Nice. You got a lot of fucking great stories, man.
Yeah. So I'm an undercover cop. She was my girlfriend. Okay. I was.
Was she undercover too?
No, she was under my cover. She was like 5 years younger than me. So and I was maybe 25. She was maybe 18 or something. I don't know what it was.
Nice.
And then
got it right out of high school.
There you
Prime.
Go. And we, she was kind of living with me. And then when I went off and did my undercover stuff in another city, I was like, why don't you just move in with me? She's like, no, I can't do that unless we have a commitment. So I was like, okay.
This guy.
So we got married. But actually, her and I are still friends, really good friends. I'm friends with her husband. She's got 2 kids.
Okay. So where was her crazy then?
Oh, she's fucking nuts. Yeah, she's still crazy.
Oh, so it's like I can love you, but just as a friend.
Yeah.
If I'm lovers, I'd probably choke the shit out of you. Okay, got
you.
you.
Then the third one, I was a freaking idiot. The vagina was really, really good. And
interesting. Okay, so this is me. This is my shit. I love to dig into this, right? So you've been through those 2 married vaginas and lots of other vaginas before you got to 9/11, and somehow she was like more captivating than anything else before.
No, you know what it was? I was I think in my 30s. I think I was 32 when I met
But you know what you're doing by then, right?
Yeah. So, but this is what it is. I was my career. I was still struggling.
Are you stand up now? Are you a comic now?
Yeah, I'm doing comedy. I live in LA now.
All right.
And
where were you? You were in New York before?
Yeah, I was in New York, in Arizona, in New York, and then I met her, and I go, you know what? It was just. I think I like that. I go, I really like her, and we went on a date, and I'm like, you know what? I can do this. I can commit myself and do all this. But fucking girl she was bipolar. She was crazy. She was bipolar. She was nuts. And we literally only were together. We were together for 2 years. We were married for 1 year. Okay. This was my idea. This was my fuck up, I admit. I go, you know what would be romantic? Let's get married a year to the day we met. What a freaking moron I was. So we did that, and it was so bad. Check this out, bro. It was so bad that we got married in Maui, right? The night of the wedding, I'm like, I can't fucking do this no more. I can't. The night of the wedding, not the night before the wedding. I'm sorry, and.
Like serious cold feet.
Yeah, no, not the cold feet. It was. I went down to walk away. Okay. Just get a rest because I'm gonna be getting married the next day and everything. And I'm talking to a woman and her daughter, and I'm saying, yeah, I'm getting married tomorrow. I'm just kind of. They were the only ones at the bar by the pool. She comes down and fucking has a shit fit, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? She goes, she's getting it hard. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. I go, I can't do that. I go, look, people came here to Hawaii to see us get married. We won't get a license. I won't sign a license, but we'll go through a married thing just so they don't think they got ripped off and fucking. Oh, okay. So she goes, oh, I'm sorry. It's I'm nervous. I've never been married before. So I fell for it. I'm like, all right, well, let's get married. And then fell for it. A year in, and yeah, that was fucking. It was bad.
So that was the wedding where the family got to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
But so yeah.
Any kids? You have any kids?
Yeah, they're older though. They're grown ups.
But not with the women you married.
The first one.
Oh, the first one. So you got kids. Yeah, okay, cool. And you said no kids, right?
I don't have any children.
Any crazy girlfriends?
No, dude. I've never been like a player dude or nothing. I've been like, every now low key get laid. I wasn't never like a dude chase pussy. It's funny because we'd hang out with him and Joey Medina. Oh, Joey Medina's right here. Joey would have a strategy. He would have a strategy. He's like, hey man, like you want to get some girls, man? Just stand by the girls' restroom.
Look at this. Squint the eye.
Duck, you go by the lake. That's my theory.
You're like a shark. It's like you see a good dun. And I mean, Felipe was the same way. I don't know, fool. Go right there by the restroom, dog. After your set, sit there with a little drink, dog. And it does work. If you're after it, dude, and you have a dude, trust me, dude. It's a vibe.
It's like an energy.
But it is a vibe too, dude, because there's a lot of dudes that try so hard. I mean, I've done gigs with guys. I won't name them. But after the show, they go fucking table to table, woman to woman. So thirsty. And they get turned down. It's like, fuck this motherfucker. Like, dude, that to me, that's more embarrassing than walking up to a chick and like, no. But you're going to every fucking woman before,
Yeah, because it's like, he's thinking like these bitches don't see them walking from table to table.
Like, dude, trust me, man. And then like, I think Joey Medina is more of a smoother dude. He has a gab. But I mean, everybody's different, dude. But I've never been that dude. Like, every now and then, like, chicks want to go, oh, yeah, cool, what up?
But you're comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah, dude. I'm not, it's nothing like, I'm just never been fucking that pussy hound, dude.
Yeah, but and
also a lot of dudes.
That's good, dude. I wish I would.
But a lot of dudes too, man. Like you see dudes that do get a lot of chicks or whatever, but it's like, dude, you got those issues with them, those problems. You got to deal with them, man. Yeah. And they're not always the sanest ladies.
Oh, I know, dude. Please, I know. I swear to God.
I know. Yeah, I've had a couple of little crazy ones. Nothing that I never like was in over my head though. Like, and I've been very reluctant to like not be. I'm not reluctant, but I just never chased a relationship. Like, I kind of like wanted that in high school really bad, and then shit didn't happen. Then I started fucking once I got, out of high school and started doing comedy, and then it was just kind of like, nah, I don't have anything to ruin my focus. But then like moving out, since I've been out here, I've just really opened my mind to just living and being present and exploring. Also, because you don't get up as much, so you kind of have to do shit to occupy your brain, and then it's like, you just meet girls and. You just kind of like, okay, maybe I could do both. And duality, it doesn't always have to be one or the other, but you just have to be smart about it.
But they have to, a comic's girlfriend has to be kind of like almost a cop's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Or you have to understand that their profession is their first. Right. You're the mistress.
Girls always number two.
Yeah, always.
Oh, I used to piss off girls. It kind of used to work as game though, because I used to be like, she's like, well, what do you mean? I come second to comment. I'm like, listen. comedy is always going to be there. You can tell me you love me and I mean everything to you, and then one day you just don't feel that way no more, and then you can just leave, and then what?
Right.
I can always do comedy until I fucking croak.
Right.
Love is great, but you can leave, and then I'd have to just deal with it. So comedy, whatever, that's always gonna come first.
Yeah, unless like she's a doctor or rich or something. I'm like, you're not gonna be first, babe. It's not gonna work that. Yeah, your job at Target is not gonna keep me safe.
Right. Let her have the MD though.
Yes.
Hey, babe, you know what? You've been right. We should spend more time
This pussy
together.
gives me an allowance.
Yes, that is different.
God damn.
But even then, after a while, you'd be like,
Yeah, man.
A man, like a comic is different. A comic, we were talking about jazz earlier. Yeah. It's like a comic is like that. We do comedy because we love it. Comics are one of the only professions, other than a musician, the only professions that we go to work on a day off. We go to work when we're not working. We'll work for free when we're not supposed to work for free.
Hell yeah.
We'll go to a room and they're like, hey, you want to do a spot? Yeah, I'll do a spot. That's the only. That's the reason we do it. We don't do it for the money. We hope we can make a living from it.
Absolutely.
Every time I get paid for comedy, I thank God, and I realize what just happened. Every single time I get a check or cash, I always go, I know what just happened. This is fucking dope.
That's dope.
I never take it for granted, and that's the reason I do it. I remember, a couple years ago, a year ago, it was like $500 million for lottery. I remember I was playing that shit consistently, man. I'm like, I'm gonna win. And I remember telling myself, if I won, I'm still gonna do spot. I'm still gonna be, hey, who books that? Who books that?
Sure.
I'll probably buy the club if I really want to work it and they won't book me. But I'm like, I'm still gonna do comedy. And that's how you know comedians are different.
This is us. I don't know if you guys have had this talk with your friends, but me and my boys, we always talk like, yo, I wanna kill it in comedy so much so that I can go to the club and bump somebody, or just do as much time as the fuck I want, and you know what I'm saying, like we don't care about that money. We just want the fucking the power to just be able to do something fun like that, just to get on stage and fuck around, because we know that life is good and we can still do what we love. I don't see myself ever, no matter how much I might take off, whether it's acting or whatever, and like stay away from the stage too long. Like I think I've learned that breaks are necessary. Like I think when you put out a special and you get to that level, if you're working on shows or doing your own thing, you have to put a lot of stuff into those projects. So yeah, stand up might take a backseat for a minute, but then that time you're away can be healthy, because then you've experienced some stuff, you've gone through some shit, and then you have more stuff to come back and talk about.
Yeah, new shit to talk about.
Stand-up is our therapy. A lot of comics joke around, oh, this is my therapy. No, it's the truth. It really is a therapy.
Yeah, for sure.
I do it because it feels good. And it's not about the ego. Some people, I had an ex-girlfriend that goes, oh, you do it for your ego. I'm like, no, because I honestly don't have an ego. I really don't. I do it because I need to do it. I feels good when I'm up there making people laugh. I love the way that feels. And I love the instant reply or whatever we get back, the response that we get back. Yeah. I love that. It has zero to do with ego. Maybe it's related to ego. I don't know, but it's not ego. Because I would do other shit, for ego. But it's just something that I think a real comedian needs to do. It's like a musician. A musician plays because he has to play. A jazz music, especially, you go up there because you got to do it. It's in your blood. You got to grab that guitar. You got to grab that mic or whatever it is.
They don't sell that feeling. You can't buy it.
What's the longest you've ever gone without doing stand-up since you've been really going hard? If you could, what's the longest?
Probably about 4 to 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I went to Mexico for about a week,
Vacation?
Yeah, but that's about
fair.
it.
How about you, Joey? Have you taken, time off? How did that feel, if you've ever had it?
Yeah, I've taken time off. It was, I don't know. I don't think
it's never been
that long? I took time off, it was just because it was just vacation, whatever, but I never felt it was time off. I never thought, wow, man, I haven't done comedy in a while. It was always just...
see, I get, because coming from New York, the New York scene where I used to just get up, every night, probably 2-3 times a night for, the first 5-6 years or whatever. And then coming out here, it's I get up and I'm funny, but you still kind of have a wait and turn thing if you're not, popping or buzzing like that. Right. And so... getting up only once, twice a week was an adjustment for me. And then it was just making me, just feel damn, I went a week and I'm like, shit, I could use a set right now. And then a couple of times I've done 2 spots in the night and I'm like, whoa, man, I remember that used to feel nice.
You start thinking or doubting yourself going, fuck, I wonder if I'm still funny. Or
yeah, too much time to think about if you're still funny. I hate that.
Yeah, but that's just the manic fucking mind of a comedian, man.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about LA is there's always spots. Even if it's a shitty open mic place.
Yeah. And that's what I learned too. The LA scene is actually pretty decent. It's just...
have to buy that $5 drink and fucking watch the rest of those acts.
I like that.
Outside of LA, there's work. But the desire is where you really need to rise, because there's just many comics, not as many shows, but it's a good scene. I think it's a good scene. I don't think it's like a lot of New York guys jaded or other people from the country shade on Hollywood. There's a difference between Hollywood and LA scene, but I genuinely think that LA does have a really good scene. You really see who's hungry and who works their way out of the LA scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and some of it is luck, some of it is a break, some of it is talent. There are a lot of comics out there there are many people out there that blown up and really don't have too much talent. And then vice versa. But I don't say that hating. I say that in the sense that for the people who see that, I want you to realize that, like, I remember one time I said a long time ago, I saw somebody do, this is when I first moved to LA, somebody do well that I knew, and I'm like, oh, they don't deserve that. But I remember thinking to myself, I hope I get something I don't deserve one day. And then I'm like, all right, my attitude's completely changed. I'm I'm like, and then like, there's a comedian. I can say this because this was brought up. Like Angela Johnson when she blew up. Angela Johnson was
video,
basically,
right?
Yeah, she was basically an open mic comedian.
Okay,
and she blew up with this thing, and then a lot of people were hating on her. A lot of people were hating on her, and I understand that.
That was the Bonquiqui thing?
Yeah.
No, even before that, the nail bit.
Nail bit,
yeah,
right.
the nail bit. But I told him, I go, this was my reply to those comics. I go, what was she supposed to do? Not take it? What was she supposed to do? Turn down?
Oh, yeah.
No, she can't. I go, you know what? She wasn't ready for it. She tried to get, and obviously now she's doing well and everything, but she did what anybody else would do. They would go, all right, well, fuck it. I'm here. I'm thrown in the spot. Let me do it. That's when you start thinking about things like that, you won't feel so bad that somebody else is doing better than you. You know what I mean?
The last thing I'll say, and then we'll do a quick wrap up, was I remember my mentality when I used to approach it, because I really took it serious. I really wanted to like do comedy and be respected and great and all that stuff. And a lot of veterans will kind of just make you always try to steer you this, be about the craft. Don't worry about money. And sometimes it leads into an attitude where you will not know your business good because you're just always taught to not think about shit. And then it kind of fucks us up. And when you start learning about some comedian stories where like, Chris Tucker blew up when he only had 20 minutes and then got these movies or such and such, these comedians, it's like when they're put in that position where they get on early, it's like, you're right. What are they supposed to do? Say no? It's like you got to figure it out as you go along. That's why not everybody's story the same. You know what I mean?
And not everybody's going to be, everybody's different, man.
Right. And if you're hungry, that's what's going to carry you through, whether you have the 45 to headline or not. You know what I'm saying?
You rise to the occasion.
You got to trust your ability. You rise to the occasion.
It's like Rocky.
Get tight.
It's like Rocky.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you think you're going into spar with Apollo Creed, but instead you're getting a shot at the title. Guess what? You're not ready for it? You better be ready for it.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
And you're not supposed to, you can't say no.
Can't say no.
I wouldn't understand. That would bother me more if I saw somebody, say no to somebody they didn't deserve. I'm like, why?
She deserved it. She was putting in work on a nail shop bit. That nail shop bit happened to be filmed, and a lot of people fucked with that nail shop bit, and that led to other shit.
Yeah,
and she keeps working.
Yeah, and good for you. I mean, that's the and again, we were talking. Rodrigo and I were talking about this. I don't give a fuck what anybody has or doesn't have. It's not my business. It doesn't affect me whatsoever.
You got to do you, man.
Yeah,
you just got to do you, and you know what? I wish when I see comics, even if I don't like them as well, or not necessarily like them, but even if I don't have a
or don't like the persona?
Persona. I'm like, I don't care. Well, no, him, that person, I don't really wish him anything great. Yeah. But everyone else in this world, like, I don't care, man. I mean, good for them, man. Good for obviously. Yeah. I'll look. Success leaves clues. I'll see what did they do? Did they hang out with the right person? Did they just have the great joke that went over? Did they have more YouTube followers? Whatever they did, I'm like, let me look at that. All right, good, interesting.
You can learn from
everything. Good for them, man. It doesn't take anything away from me.
Yeah, and the longer you're around, man, people are gonna see, well, this motherfucker's he's still doing it. Hey, motherfucker, hey, you get a call. You know what I mean? You just never know. That's the other thing too.
For sure.
But ain't nobody's journey gonna be the same. I don't give a fuck. Right. Said this, and you hear those stories starting out, and also you have veterans that are kind of like dicks. Oh, you don't need to be doing that. Right. And people are gonna get in your head, dude. But you gotta put your blinders on. That'll come through experience if you don't get it in the beginning, man.
No, I agree.
It's perseverance. You got to have fucking some thick skin.
Yeah,
it's like time. You're fucking with like the best of the best out here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for coming through, talking some comedy on the Comedy Pop-Up Cast. Why don't you guys plug? When does this come out?
This Monday.
This Monday. So whatever you have following that Monday, if you want to plug or just your handles, social medias, do all that.
Yeah, dude, I do the What's Up Fool podcast, co-host with Felipe Esparza. I'll have my own Yeah Man podcast. I do a show once a month in Riverside on the second Tuesday of the month at the Fox there.
Nice.
And fucking Rodrigo Torres Jr. On Twitter, Rodrigo Torres Jr. on Instagram. Same thing with Facebook.
Okay.
And I have a podcast as well, even though I haven't updated in a while, but there's like I got 140 episodes or whatever. Joey Medina Show. It's on iTunes and everything else. And Joey Medina Comic is my handle on everything.
Okay. Maybe we need to talk to the CPU guys. Maybe get you on the network, man, so we can get you out there every week. But thank you, gentlemen, for coming through, man. I've been your host, Nick Alexander. If you want to follow me, add me at Nick of Comedy. Ron G, we miss you. Come and hold it down for you, boy. Peace.